Happy Friday, Fight Out Warriors. I wish you could see the beautiful sky here. It's like pink and blue. I like every other sky I know, but it's just so beautiful here for me today. And today is the best day because, today I can train. I'm gonna train upper body in the morning and then lower body at night, like Friday favorite. Why can't I talk? Friday fun. I realized I have to slow myself down. I'm not really gonna make myself understood anything. All right, first of all, my ego story. When I was in Sweden, hoping and dreaming about one day make it to America, I had this watch I got in Vegas that had the American Eagle in it. And I had this watch, this leather watch, and I was looking at that one every time that I felt like, how am I gonna do it? Like, how am I gonna be able to do it? When I felt like a leap of faith, I just have to believe, And there was nobody else believing in me, and I knew everything was about me. I wasn't waiting for someone to believe in me. I knew that I was gonna do this, but the critics and the kind of collective of nobody makes it in America, that was very strong. So I looked at that eagle, and it made me think, feel like I'm gonna fly over, I'm gonna make it, this little bird, this little sparrow that I see myself as gonna make it and take over. And I always wanted to be Pippi Longstocking, live like that with nobody else being my police, nobody else tell me what to do, not grow up and do adult stuff. And I'm so proud that I have committed to that, because I feel like that. I feel so happy that I stuck to everything and I didn't back down to all the critics, and I didn't make people, I didn't let them instill fears, and I didn't let my men love interest change the way that I want to live. And was it easy all the time? No. And that's what I want you to really know, that I'm not asking for easy, and you shouldn't either. It's not the best place to be. And what is important is to know the purpose and having something that is important for you, that is from your heart, that makes you able to self-conquer, because it's so much worth it and you can take it all. It's no different than when you invest in your children, how you feel about it. It's all worth it, right? That's how I feel with my coaching. You, my clients, are my children. And trust me, I never wanted them. I didn't choose to have this bleedy heart. I didn't choose to care. It's very annoying at times. It's very annoying when sometimes clients don't think, or what they do. I know why. Okay, so lack of self-love, lack of understanding that you're worth it. So they kind of just forget, 6 months when it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't, some life happens, not interested in committing anymore. Go missing for 6 months, not a cricket, not a sound. I don't know if you died. And here I am like a mother wondering what happened, And that is just what people who are just in it for business could say, well, it's just people, it's what it is. It is, and I agree, that's how I handle it. But my feelings, my emotions say another story. And that I wanted to tell you guys. There's so much you believe in your own kind of policy, your own propaganda about how you don't need this and you don't need that. But I can tell you don't know what you need, apparently, because you keep on not getting it. You say you know what you want, but you don't have it. What is wrong then? Don't you know how to ask for it? Exactly, because you need to get over that you, just like me and everyone else, is gonna think one thing one moment, and then the next a whole complete different one. You're gonna be overtaken by thoughts that you have that are like implanted from what you hear in the collective stream, and things in culture, and things like subliminal stuff and frontal overt things. And you're gonna handle that. You don't know really what is actually your own thought and what not. Then you're also gonna notice that you have to get over wanting to be right about everything, because what are you gonna do with being right? Because there is no such thing as you right. That's your version, just like mine. That if 50% of people say they believe this and the rest believe another thing, whatever that is, I cannot say that I'm right. This is my opinion. This is how I see it. Yes. Would I love everyone to think like me? Yes. Can I say it's the way? No. So when you have that tolerance to people's opinion and understand that whatever they do, it's not wrong, it's just the way they do it, you're going to have less frustration with people who don't understand you. You also have to know, it's a lot you have to know, that you have to belong to your own crowd. You don't want to hang out with people who do not even want to understand, who don't have the ability, or even maybe they're not aware of their lack of openness. But why do you want to fight with that when you can just focus on yourself? Because instead of focusing on how other people are going to handle you or behave around you, focus on everything you. So you stop reacting and stop living and stop giving people your drama. Stop giving them energy. Because that's what you do when you keep on going back to people who piss you off. But if they piss you off, there's usually a reason. One is that you're not consistent. For instance, if you want to teach your family and your friends that this is what you do, you have to be consistent. Because otherwise they're right. You're not consistent. You're not doing what you need to do. And family and friends are your worst critics. They're going to hold you accountable to the bullshit you say, if they care. So you take their kind of ridiculing you a little bit too hard because they're right. So change. And they will give up on complaining about you, and then they're going to be motivated by you, because when they see that you suddenly fit and lean, all of a sudden they're going to change to what they say. They might try to stop you and say that, hey, you look like a man now, but that's just their insecurities. So you can just forget that. Of course, they would love to be strong and feel healthy and fit, because that's like bliss. So Fittest Life is really about a game of chess. And I want to play that. And the thing with chess, if you wonder about acquired taste, why people choose to do things that are really difficult. Why do people do that? Why do I meditate at least 2 hours a day? And often different things, like my weekend is like 4 hours of meditation. Because, well, it's just very hard to explain. It's that satisfaction. The same satisfaction as you get from your junk food, from your sex, from whatever massage, but this is just a whole other. It was almost like a flavor of life that hasn't even been described, because there's so few people who have experienced it, and even further, very few people who actually thrive on it because you know how to make it happen. I'm one of those, and I will not give you your fantasy that Pauline is gonna fatten up one day again, when I'm not able to sow what you believe is hold on to my willpower and my police discipline, because you all believe that it's a purgatory, or you want it to be, that I'm just like resisting and fighting myself. But that is not my chapter anymore, because that is no longer my life. It used to be, but I solved it because I wanted more. I didn't want to be a little baby for myself. But it took so much time of wanting to grow, and I still didn't go for it when I noticed when you know it in you, and I didn't. So then I wonder sometimes, you who want to, help when you want to, but don't when you don't. Do you actually think you're gonna be kind of consistent as a human and not have these ups and downs that you have to just reason and learn your ways, and then so you don't fall for it? It's like you have to learn how to resist your own way of manipulating yourself. Because you just fall for the same, almost like a politics. You kind of laugh at the politicians, but hey, that's what you do to yourself. You always play the game that you suffer from in the end. Because you kind of just want to hope, I kind of play it a little bit, and then you just don't care about being happy enough. So you just, you're gonna be okay with having a lot of days that you just hate what you did, so you're gonna live in the past and dwell on it. And because you can't really say it's a new day when you notice that what you chose yesterday is really lingering and holding on to you today. It's really a shitty way to want to live. But people in a group, people in a culture together tend to become that. There's no difference than a lot of people just drink, and there's a lot of, if you don't drink every weekend and get really loaded and wasted, it's the more you can drink, the cooler you are. That is the pressure in Sweden. I grew up in that. So I remember my days of drinking and knowing the pressure, and that's what you do. And if you don't do it, you're not cool. I know how it sounds like. You can laugh, but I think if you know your own story in your life, those things that are really weird, looking back, how we just now we say, oh, who cares? But yeah, you're not that strong when you're weak. So the whole chess playing is pretty much that I want to say that when the game is over, when you have, really, let's just think about a really difficult game of chess. And then the whole game is to play against yourself, and then you're going to outsmart every move. And the day when you have solved it, you're going to go straight into a new game. You didn't really want to solve the game. You just wanted to enjoy the time playing. And that's how you can kind of see that why do people want to live fittest life. And I know it sounds hilarious too, like now when I catch myself, like why do people want it from me? It's like, yeah, why? It's obvious. You wouldn't have this body and this feeling and this to do. You would be so bored and so basic. It's like you have to have some kind of tough training or you're gonna be just an average, just like an animal. But if you put yourself through some tough training in life, you're gonna be, a little more refined. Not just water, but wine. I know water is the best way to be because it means you're fluent and you just keep on adapting to the environment and you penetrate. So I'm not gonna fatten up for you because I do this out of my heart and I have all my tricks and I know myself so well and I also know how I want to feel. So I'm aligned 100%. And sometimes I too think it's surprising how freedom really makes you feel so good and so aware that you really slow yourself down to the rational mind is there and you don't go for the impulses anymore, because that's how you get in trouble. It's the same thing like I tend to get in trouble when I was younger with being so flirty and so charming and I love to seduce men, and then all of a sudden I feel, oh man, I'm in trouble now he's gonna chase me around. Ugh. So here's another thing, that you just have to get over what you believe is about you that you don't know, self-lessons. When clients say that you don't understand why should you have my recipe app, you don't need 500 recipes because you just need to get in fit and you know how to eat. I think that's kind of interesting to just think about this, that everyone knows how to do it, yes, and you want to kind of go over the system again. But the thing is that it's not the system, it's when you don't work it anymore. And then I wonder, why don't you? And you say, well, I get bored and life happens, you say, but that is not true. It's just you get depressed, you get bored. It's the same monotonous meals that you used to love, but you're out of love now. It's just another romance gone wrong. It's not the love of your life you just thought it was. Now you have to find a new date, a new diet plan. And then you do that until you're bored again, because you have to know your nature. You are not gonna stay committed and happy with whatever you love today. It's not like your love of your life in a romantic partner. And with romantic partners, it's not a given. You're just gonna be happy with one, right? Or your partner might not just always want to have one, even if it's perfect. And that's another thing. Why do you think you need to be on a perfect diet plan? Well, you're not perfect and your body is perfect the way it is. You just haven't really given it what it needs. And it doesn't need to change anything to be perfect the way it is. You just want it to be another way. That's a whole other story. So knowing that, it's going to be easier for you to kind of stop being frustrated that it's not about the work isn't working. It just hasn't shown up enough to your liking yet. But that's just the critical mass has to accumulate so you can notice. And you have to kind of distract yourself away of enjoying the practice, because otherwise it's like looking at a tree, how to grow from a seed. You're going to not be there for the tree be in bloom before you've learned enough about yourself. So that's why I kind of don't want clients to figure themselves out outside my community and go missing for years, because I just know we'll just lost those years of building. And I know we can't speed build your body or your lifestyle or your skills or your strength in discipline. So then you're back to that, why do you need to have recipes? You need it for your mind. When you get diet blues and you don't know what to do, I know, you go hiding. Now you're gonna try to struggle yourself away. You feel guilty, you should know better. Or maybe you want to do right, but you're not doing it, whatever. It's not working to the way you wake up and you're proud, and that is what I'm trying to do. So you're just keeping on regretting that you didn't listen, but you want to be self-made and you want to have the big girl panties. So you rather stay fat and never learn than to just get over it and get to work. And that is kind of good too, to know that you're not really in it for the goals. That's great. You're in it to just kind of complain about it. So what is the rush then, right? If you don't really care about achieving the goal because you don't really do all you can, what's the rush? So that's why I say maybe it's time for you to actually commit to a whole year of dedicated practice for yourself. Because I don't see it's going to change when you just have 2 or 3, 4 months in a row that you think is going to be it. Because remember, every little round you keep on self-sabotaging, that becomes more time you have to defat before you're going to be so-called maintained. And remember now that you don't want to work on your discipline until you're lean enough for your liking, and that's too late. Because you can't suddenly get strong and to maintain. That's the thing. A lot of people get the body results and have no power of their mind to maintain it. So you just lose your power. And then you blame the body, but it's the mind. So the mind needs to have the scrolling routine. That when you get confused and forget that you can have so much that you just take for granted, and everything will change when you notice what happens to your feelings and your body and everything. When you focus on health instead of self-destruction, when you stop wanting to be what people say is all they want, like when you don't want to be like the average people who think the young can be sedentary and forget about taking care, and who don't think it's any pride to have in being able to be strong-minded. Like if you want to be that, I'm not your coach, because I don't want to. I think it's such a waste of talent, because this kind of acquired taste of wanting to be disciplined and feel how it feels like it feels like you're the master of the whole world. It feels like you're the whole universe when nothing can affect your decision making and you know yourself. You have automated your own desires to be the way you want to desire. You have aligned the way you want to desire, so they're motivating you and you're getting rewarded. Isn't that kind of, wow, right? Of course, that's going to require you to train your mind. And it's so the least important thing you think, when that is the whole start and the end. It's everything you think and you act and you choose. So I think it's more about changing the way you perceive of what you need, because you need more than a treadmill. Do you remember how it felt before you were told you can't do it by yourself, when you haven't given up and that you are capable? Do you remember? I remember when I was a kid and I wanted to be Pippi Longstocking, and I'm so proud that I could be it. Did I say that already? Well, a reminder. I'm proud of what I am and what I do for myself. And I want you to be that too. So the reasons you believe you don't need things are the reason why I have them. In my fitness life, things are needed every day. That things I do, things I think about, everything changes. There's different themes, different flavors of life. And I have my community share it. When my clients, so here's the thing, what I'm changing, my whole mission is to make the most rewarding and engaging and exciting place where there's fun for fitness women who want to enjoy fitness life together, when it's like you can't help yourself from checking in. That's what my goal is for 2024. That my group is so fun and so, the best friends, the best energy, how to get motivated. And it's just where I'm gonna see, it's like I want it to be like a magazine that is the new daily magazine today, and you're gonna read it, like Good Morning America, whatever. I don't watch TV, And you want to be part of that because you want to be part of the communication and the conversation. And you see my fun and my serious pose, and you see everyone else, and everyone is cheering on each other. And we remember that we just want to be here focusing on what makes us happy and not have to defend our honor to be allowed to be happy, instead of keeping on bringing the whole world's miseries that it will always be. I mean, the thing how I see it is that this is how it is. Life is, and the world is the way it is, and it's always been, and I don't know more, and I don't want to spend my life pondering away how to solve everything, because it's not only my responsibility. You and I can only do our part, and that starts with being happy and taking care of our health. Your continuation is your family, mine is you. We can only do that and be happy and healthy and focusing on everything that is good, because that is how we can change the world. And that is my little, if you want to be my childish, that I'm naive. But on the other hand, I never become jaded, because I understand people. I understand why it's tough, because I'm a human too. You're just more human than I am in fitness right now, but you're gonna become eagles if you want to swim, or swim, if you don't want to be a duck, right? Because there's nothing wrong with being a duck. We need those two, we need everything, but it's just not gonna be the way you become strong or change your human nature. It just takes a whole other kind of training camp. That's why I say that I'm a mom with all these eaglets, and I didn't notice how eaglets don't really look like they're gonna ever be something, right? They're puffy and weak, and they fall, and they're asymmetrical, and they kind of just cry, right? Well, that's you and I before become eagles. Oh, I'm so happy that it's a beautiful day. It's been raining and raining. It's good for the nature, and now it's sun. So remember, after every storm, there's sunshine again. So that's why when you have a day when you're not motivated, you don't quit on it just because it's a rainy day, right? Is that if you have a bad day with weather, are you gonna think it's never gonna be a bikini day again? That's how you have to think, because those little moments in fitness life when you struggle with your nutrition in the wrong kind of company, they're gonna believe it's not a big deal. And I just know I'm gonna give you a few kind of warnings here, how easy it is to forget what matters. When you've been on a fat loss mode time for some time, and now it's Christmas or holiday and you want to enjoy, it's easy to think you're gonna have a little bit more every day, and that's the way to not get how to not get fat again. Unfortunately, it's the opposite. It's better to restrict yourself and be on a calorie budget to get lean, and then have a refeed with a spike. And the spike shouldn't be too big, of course. So if you can po-bo it away, I know if you have po-bo food in your whole menu and then put yourself on whatever you want to have, you can have then. I know you can't just fit in more food because you're just full. That's how you po-bo, so you don't get in trouble. It's the same thing as when I was a teenager and I didn't want to get in trouble with a man. I put on grandma panties on, so I was like too embarrassed for ever getting undressed. Wasn't that smart? And here's another thing I just want to tell about my community and what is important for me. To me, I have this complex in me that I feel like I could never be good enough for other people in fitness and gym culture. That it was always this pressure of, people always asking, why don't you have more muscle? Why don't you want to be that, or calling skinny? And it was so hard to defend my honor. I get so mad at people. Felt like I couldn't stand up enough for wanting to be the way I wanted, because I always wanted to be like a lean, strong ballerina with a little more muscle than that. I never had the big monster muscle ambition, never had. That was people who wanted that, because that's how people are, right? They want to tell other people what to do and how to think and be. And it doesn't matter, because if you are not happy, well, it doesn't affect them. So everyone else was into the yo-yo dieting and get lean and then fatten up, and I couldn't do it, and I didn't want to do it. It was too much hard work. But I was fighting to be able to stay lean, of course, because that's the tough thing. It's easy to be on focus on a project and then give up on it all and eat cheat days and then regain and then start over. That's what people do. That's what the industry does. I don't want to do it. I worked my whole, that was the whole thing I wanted to get out. Because nothing is more just not at all fun or enjoyable to go on that route. And I'm so happy to be out of it, but I know how it feels to not being able to control yourself, and that is where most people are now. So I always felt that it wasn't cool enough to want to be just lean and fit. And I was, when you don't fit the ideal and then people wanted to be buffer and whatever they were into that I wasn't. Like, I wanted to live my life being healthy and fit and do this, and whatever speed on my muscle was good enough. I was never impatient, and that's what people are. And when you're impatient, that's when when you choose to do bad stuff, like not doing it the way that your body's gonna be able to be healthy, taking the wrong way, forgetting that it matters to be healthy, using your body for whatever your mind thinks it's speedier to get it done. When here I am thinking, what the heck are you gonna do when you're done? That's when I'm dead, in my opinion, because I want to have something I love to do until I'm dead. So I care about it. But my community is pretty much for where I just want to have all the women to allow you to be who you want to be. To stop having to listen to everyone who tries to stop you because you're kind of whatever. That they should mind their own business, but they don't. And we know that's people, so we don't focus on it. Instead, we hang out and we celebrate what we love to do. We focus on that. So my community stands for kind of the counter side to all the people who are trying to, they're not trying, let's just say they're not aware that they're not helping anyone, including themselves. And you are not strong enough because you listen to your friends and you still want the thing that you've been growing up to. I know you have this dichotomous, want fitness life and you want regular life, you forget that you ever met me. But once you have a fitness dream, it keeps haunting you. And that's a sign. You're not done yet. You haven't given up and you shouldn't. You just haven't found the one that made you see the way you haven't, because you thought, you didn't think. That's the thing. It was only about the body and the pressure from people, and always about fitting in, and always about this and that, and you didn't even know what to do. And so you have to give yourself self-compassion that you weren't always good for yourself. You have to give self-compassion for having known what to do and not acted on it. You have to give yourself self-compassion for the things you've been, ridiculing and shaming and thinking about other people that now wasn't really how you felt, but you didn't know better. So some examples so you see how I want to grow. Because when you're honest with people, guess what? They tend to like to take it and use it against you, right? They use your Achilles tendon, and then when they have a time, they're gonna try to shoot you down. Well, I think the opposite. My transparency and openness means you have nothing you think you can shoot down. Because when it comes down to it, I win. I'm the one who has nothing I'm holding in, so I can't be caught off guard, which is what you get by yourself. So in my years I remember looking down on other women who were so-called cardio bunnies, who weren't training hard enough for my liking, how that wasn't cool enough and they should know better, without knowing why, or even thinking that maybe they don't want to train heavy and hard. But that was so out of my periphery, I didn't even understand why wouldn't you want to train heavy and hard. Like, I was so, now thinking back about injuries and other things, and how some people don't want to lift until you break down. But there was all this about, I felt that we who want to train heavy and hard and lift and mind over matter, that kind of military mind, until you realize that the military is also getting fat because they too eat their chips and can't control themselves around temptations, which makes me think, wait, that's the military is so weak at human nature when they're not fed? Who is the special forces then? I'm just saying that don't believe that having power like that is the way to be free. You have to give yourself freedom to want to be all that good, compliant little organism that you can't control. Remember, you want a dog, but you're a cat. And the cat doesn't want a dog life. A cat likes to have fun. That's, again, why you need to have all the recipes in an app. Because if you print them out and have them, it's still not going to be what works. Because you're not sitting waiting for the ultimate library of fitness lessons. So you can just have that book, read it, and then you're going to be happy and in perfect shape all your life. That's your mind wanting to be like that, but that's not thought out. And again, you are going to be without anything good to do. So you really want to know that when you are embarking on Fitness Life with me, Fighter Diet, it's a whole life change. It's a life transition. It's like you are completely, you think you're going to get in there one way, but what you're coming out with a whole other story. You just become your greatest. Because that is what Fitness Life will take for you to have it your way. So when you can't have it your way easily, you're going to have to show up strong and be brave. That's how you become that determined woman you want to be. The one who is a mistress or master over her mind, who is the king of her own castle, who knows she can trust herself blindly. It does not matter what is the temptation. She will never lose the sight of where it matters. That's badass. It's like, oh man, it's like the best attractive skill of everything, because it really sets apart that you're not a little toddler person anymore. You are really much more, you have reached a whole other level. So anyway, I love life for all it includes, and I want it all. And for you who wonder about my meditation of how to clear the mind, I actually use the mantra of Amen because I grew up Christian and I love Jesus the way, he was my first love. Jesus star, Jesus Christ, superstar. Andrew Lloyd Webber's, I saw that and I just like Jesus. And on the other side, man, it's so hard to get rid of that patriarchal God that looks like Pavel, the white bearded old man Santa Claus. Because we had that whatever. That is not my idea of a God. But either way, Santa, right? Fat Santa. But I love the message of that, and with that, I have to come back to my thought here of the mantra. So I use Amen because that means word. So when I have my love in my heart, what I think about everything that makes me happy, and that's you guys, and about the plants and everything. And then I have Amen, so I walk like Amen. Breathe in and then Amen. So I love that. So that is a really good way of, and then I can silence it. So it's good to have a word to focus on, so you don't focus on all the thoughts that are coming in. To summarize about this morning talk is to wake up and feel just happy to have today, so excited, like I'm gonna have work to do, that I'm having all these things I want to do to excite the group and have fun. And then thinking that my clients are gonna be excited about going in on a Monday instead of Monday. Like if I can make you be in love with what we do and you wanna show up and have fun and you're like, hey, that is the vibe I want. And the reason why it's not here that often in fitness is because people tend to just focus on everything that is bad and boring and sad. So that's why when you're going into changing your life, you have to really overcompensate, selling in all you can about all the wonderful things in fitness life. To really seduce and charm yourself to want to commit. Because otherwise you're going to be a flake. You're going to be like a one-night stand, and you want to have a long, rewarding lifetime marriage if it's not even this life, but all your lifetimes, right? And then here's another motivation for you who feel that you're not allowed to train and be a fitness person because you have this kind of message in you that you feel that you've been told so many times that since you've been fat, you're never going to have that perfect, tight-looking body. You're never going to be looking the way a fitness model would be. You will never be whatever. You will always have scars. You're never going to be good enough, so why do you do this? All that stuff. Well, you do it for the same reason I do. Eating and training and the fun and the excitement and the joy. And when you move it, you're just going to have more fun to eat. So now imagine if you could, together with me, change this industry, change the way diet culture, change it, everything what people say about the bodies. Imagine if we could just show it like the skins that are sagging shows that you won and you took the prize. You accepted that it's not always going to be the way you want in life, including your body. But you're going to show that mind matters and your mind is strong and you work for your health. You take care of all your organs. So you do not need to have tight looking body to be healthy and an epitome of health. It's just the way your body looks. It had a life before health came in. It's not your body's fault. So you have to give yourself compassion that you didn't always treat yourself well. And I want to be that part of that change. Thinking about the loose skin and how that's going to be a status symbol, how, the scars and the way that the body shows, the dedication, the self-conquer, that only a body that shows that you have been through fights and wars and battles and combat with yourself is gonna tell the story about how strong and brave and courageous you are. So now think about that, how freeing it is that in my community, I'm not there to see what day are you in shape, what day are you gonna reach this goal weight, what day is this gonna happen. You gotta show up in results because it's always about results, not how you got there, not how you feel about getting there, and not how you're gonna keep it up. Now imagine if that is no longer the thing there's a focus on, about that. When you let go of your pressure of that and just here for the experience to learn how to take care of yourself because you have family. You are gonna be the influence. You can take the price or pay that your body is gonna show it was alive before you got your crap together. And that is, you have to be proud of that. I want you to have this kind of life. When you're gonna go to Christmas and you are dressed there in your clothes, but you can't see that you have loose skin and you have made a huge change. So then you're gonna show the story, like the Christmas story about how you went on 2 years of constant of getting there. And at the same time listening to people who said, well, what are you going to do with all this loose skin? Oh, your face is going to look saggy. What are you going to do with all that? And you're going to look bad, you're going to look old. And now imagine if you get validated that you show with your body, your whatever people say wasn't pretty enough or bad, that you shouldn't get healthy because it's going to make you look less attractive or whatever they want to say. Remember, they do that because they're feared to death about not being as good, and now they think you're gonna be all that, and if you do it, how are they gonna be strong enough to want to do it? They're not even aware that they think like that. But think about this, that they're scared that if you're gonna do this, that they have to do it too, and they don't believe they can, so they're scared, terrified, and they're so scared or terrified about giving up on all the things that makes us happy, the food, the thing that just makes you feel now is the bliss moment. You live like a drug addict, and that's the only highlight you have. And then, maybe you didn't live fitness life, so you just never looked at the body, you just had a body. Now all of a sudden, you're very aware of it, everything, every sign, every crack, every sound, every effect. You don't know your body, it's like your puberty again, and that's exciting. So now just imagine that you're gonna go and you're gonna show and tell the story for your grandkids, and you're gonna, take up the sweater, pull up the sweater and show your skin, and everyone is gonna be, wow, that's badass, you could do that, yes. And there was nobody who believed in me, and I kept on doing this, and I had to love myself to understand that this is why I do this, and I'm gonna have this, and I'm just gonna be proud of it. That's what I want, and I can look forward to when the status symbol is to have gaunt faces, because it's gonna show that you have won over human nature. You did what no medication, no big pharma, no pill, no diet, no coach can do, which is you chose your health and happiness. You were willing to take the price of compromise, that it wouldn't be 100% the way you want it in appearance, but it would be everything you feel. So that is what I want, and I need you all to be part of it right away, because you know how you shape the community, and I have to keep the vibe up. I need everyone to remember we are there to empower each other. And I'm just one, and there's so much women who kind of forget that destroying other people's happiness or giving them something that you think is going to keep them in place is just affecting yourself. So I really want to change the way women see each other, so you see that you're just another yourself. We gotta be strong together. And for me, I just love that I feel that I have all these daughters that I just want to push forward to have in the center stage in your life. You know, it's not about me, I'm just helping you find your way. So if I can have it my way, it's gonna be like this. You commit to yourself a whole year. And remember, it's not with a deadline in the end. It's just you're gonna be in practice mode. That's the thing. Show up for practice to learn about yourself. And there's no deadline but death, because you're gonna be with yourself until death. And then after that, we don't know. So the more you can work on yourself today with happiness and how you feel, whatever is next chapter is gonna be better for you. And that's what I want. And if you are signing out to be with friends or family, I just want to say I'm really grateful for your business and grateful for your being in my community. I'm grateful that you are, and thank you for having interest and having me around in your life.